Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic news breakdown here on SHODO-X. Alright, as always, I'm your host, the Frozen Stratos, and yeah, today we have plenty of news that's coming out of the Kamen Rider Candy Toy news blog, but we also have some in-hand reports for Kamen Rider Chronicle Gaim, as well as some other items, but we'll get to those in a bit. So far, Chronicle Gaim is out, and we have the case breakdown, so we knew for a fact that it was going to be 10 pieces or 5 figures total, and that means we are getting 2 Kamen Rider Gaim figures, 1 Baron, 1 Ryugen, and 1 Zangetsu. That is the case breakdown. Some people were hoping for a Gaim body plus an extra banana armor to be that 5th figure, but no, it's just a second Gaim, because that's just how toy distribution works, unfortunately. But yeah, that's basically your breakdown, but that's not all that people are getting in hand, because we are also seeing reports of Book 2. People are getting this, and I was confused because these don't come out until the 30th. You see it up there, 11-30. But if you remember a few weeks ago, a while ago actually, there was a giveaway they were doing for Book 2, as well as a signed little image with the main actor's signature on it. So those are going out now. They're like preview sets, and you get an autograph, so that's really nice. Those are going out, and that's why we are seeing images. So don't be confused. It isn't out early, unfortunately. But yeah, so look forward to these coming eventually. Anyway, that is it for all the in-hand reports. Let's talk some Kamen Rider Sabre with Fantastic Lion, and it looks fantastic. Basically, yeah, it makes sense that we waited until now to, like, see the extra arms, like the extra swappable arms, just because, you know, it's part of a combined form. So that probably means that's how we're going to get our main bits of form changing. That's how we're going to be using the gimmick. So that's really nice. Anyway, it has a brand new belt, so it has all 3 of them in there. The sword and the belt itself, those are all molded in blue, I believe. I think the whole thing is molded in blue. But, you know, you still have tons of extra colors in here that we'll talk about in a bit. What the blog specifically wanted to talk about, though, was the wings in the back. These are actually on pegs, so they can, like, sort of tilt backwards and swivel 360 on that joint. That's basically there because, like, you know, it has to move. It needs to look better. Like, the wings are supposed to be mounted on the back itself, but instead these are mounted on the shoulder pads to make that range of motion possible. Anyway, yeah, that's how that all works. They also wanted to talk about the mane in on that shoulder armor. So we have a lot of extra parts here, and they just decided to add more because they needed that mane to move on his head. Sure, you could, like, tuck it back. It's not quite necessarily why they made it. They really just made it so that whenever you combine it with something else, whenever it runs into a collar, then you have that extra range of motion still. So I definitely appreciate that. Also, about this figure, we've got this shiny metallic navy painted on, like, the entire right side of this figure. So there is still, like, significant paint here, and they decided to make this incredibly accurate because there is a subtle difference in the in-show suit itself. So I really appreciate that attention to detail. They also wanted to mention that these stickers have basically the same color. Like, they are boasting that there is basically no difference between the sticker color and the paint color. And I see what they're saying. Like, if you did not know, like, if you did not see the sticker cut lines, then yeah, this is definitely, like, the same color. So mad props to them. Good stuff here. I absolutely love it. Anyway, let's talk about this next figure that they revealed. Kamen Rider Buster, and he looks fantastic, like mind-blowingly good, and it has a lot to do with the sword. This is the biggest sword that SHODO has ever produced, which is a surprise to basically no one. It's huge. This is it next to him, and you're already sort of seeing it here, but it does actually have the hilt, like the butt of the hilt, so I definitely appreciate that attention to detail as well. They could have easily left it off, and I'm surprised that it is a part they included, so that's really cool. Also, oh, hello. That's not the right button. He has a peg in the sword itself that pegs into the back hole. They have a specifically mounted back hole there. That is, I believe, where the ride book is supposed to go. And yet they did not put a ride book in there. It is empty, and I don't think that we'll get a ride book to fill that in with, just because, you know, no one else really has that. You could probably do it yourself if you would like, but I think this is just, you know, for the molding, for the purposes of the molding. I don't know why they didn't include the ride book, but I don't know. It's fine. I like it. Anyway, next up, this is how it looks on the back. Also, taking a look at the sword itself, it has the holes. It has the holes in, you know, it has the meat removal that it should have, and they were saying, yeah, despite toy safety standards, we were able to make this happen. Basically, with these holes, it makes the plastic weaker, so it might fail on someone and actually break, and despite that, they were able to make this and have it up to spec. Same with the head. The head still has the hole through it, so this is a win-win. Like, everything has been completely accurate so far. Like, this reminds me, like, to a lesser extent, of when Espada still had, you know, the hole within the ring on his head. So I still very much appreciate this. Also, this is an unpainted version of this figure, because there's a lot of paint on this guy. They did not say it outright, but from the images we have here, it definitely looks like this thing is molded in just gray. There is no black molded parts that I have seen from this figure. So to my eye, I believe that all of the black, all of the orange you see here, everything that isn't gray is paint. And that is a lot. They even noted that in the blog itself, saying that if Fantastic Lion, since he has a lot of parts, is the parts budget crusher, this is the paint budget crusher, because there's just so much paint on this guy. It's insane. Also, they were talking about the stickers as well, and they showed us that this is a stress-free sticker sheet, and that is what they are boasting about this, and I see it. This is amazing. That's like nothing. This is like nothing. It's basically the eyes and you're done. Like, I would argue that you might not even need the rest of it, you know? And, you know, I do want to take another look at that belt. Wow. Yeah. I don't know how they were able to get away with certain details in there, but the, you know, belt is still relatively detailed. This is fantastic. What a breakthrough. I love this. Hey, anyway, that's not all the improvements they made on this guy. The forearm bit, that raises up because, oh, God, wrong button. His elbow, you can only bend it so far without that getting in the way. So it raises up and gives you that extra range of motion. Speaking of range of motion, you actually have the return of the drawer joint, which is, you know, for me, it's unexpected because this is a completely new molded figure. Like, they made this figure from the ground up. They said as much in the blog itself, and here he is side by side with Sabre. There are no reused parts. Everything is completely redone here. And they also wanted to get across that chunk. They wanted to get across the bulkiness of this figure. And you know what? It absolutely works. I'm very happy with how this turned out. And yeah, basically, that is it for Buster himself. Everything looks great. That's basically where the blog ended off for Sabre, but they didn't leave us with just that, because next week we are talking about more Book 3, and we are talking some Shodo items. What might those Shodo items be? I don't know if it is specifically what they told us this week, but they did give us the full lineup of SHODO-X 12, and that is just some Kamen Rider build stuff. What? They didn't have any images for us because apparently, you know, the schedule is really tight and they weren't able to get images for us. And once again, next week they're talking about more Shodo stuff. So I don't know. I have no idea if next week they will be showing us these images or not. Like, why would they tell us so far in advance? I'm very confused about, like, what's going on here, but I am excited. I am very, very excited to see this. And I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, this is a rehash, because, you know, I believe even the same designer, D-Man, is working on SHODO-X, and he's the one that worked on Build. Throughout most of Build, that was him. And I wondered on the Soto Pop podcast, which will come up later this week, that I wonder if it's because there was no retail version that is up to the standard Shodo specification of, wrist joints and all that stuff with everything. Like, everything. So, I wonder if it is sort of in response to not having all of that. They just want to bring it up to that new specification. Same with X8. It would make a lot of sense because X8 is very sort of out of date. And one might argue that, oh yeah, but the Daisoto figures, not everybody is able to get their hands on these, and these are like standard retail. So it makes a lot of sense. I just recognize that I didn't say them, I just showed them, but you have Rabbit Tank Hazard, Cross, Great Cross, Machine Builder, and an expansion part set. And basically, if you make a build figure, your base body, you have just about all of Build covered in one base body. And it makes sense. You make that base body, you got your Rabbit Tank, Hazard, Cross, and Great Cross. All you have to do is swap out the head and the shoulder pads. It's really the only thing that needs to change. Oh, and the forearms. But that's really all that needs to change. Also, this is the Hazard form, so I do wonder if we're getting the extra heads to make different Hazard forms, or maybe, hopefully, I really want them to actually put in the clear eyes for the visors and stuff, because that would really, really set it apart from the standard Soda release. Either way, I'm very excited for this. This comes out in... it comes out sometime next year. I believe it was... Did they give us a date? I'm not sure. They really only gave us a date for Book 3, which was December. But this one probably won't come out for another year. March? Something. I forgot. I probably should have had that information, but it doesn't come out for a while, and we'll probably talk about it again once we do have images. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week, because that's not all the news we have. That is not all the news we have, but that is all for this video. In the next video that comes out either in a few hours or tomorrow, we do have some Biohunter Silva updates and has some really cool Bioman stuff to talk about, as well as some other Sentai news that I just had to compile in a different video because this one had a lot of stuff already. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought was like the most interesting stuff, specifically with the build stuff. Let me know what you think is going on with the build items, because it's strange that we're getting a re-release so close to standard Soto. I guess it's been like 3 years, but anyway, also, while you're down in the comments section, go on into the description, because there are links to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement by donating money, signing petitions, and watching videos. Link in the description and end card gives you a playlist of videos that donate their ad revenue to the Black Lives Matter movement. So it is donating without actually having money, and that's perfect for broke people like me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Keep it. Yeah. I lost the... I didn't know which one was up.